Hello, this is Jason with Canada-Dashcam.com. Today I wanted to do an overview of the VicoVation Marcus 2. This camera is VicoVation's entry-level camera. However, it's not really that entry-level for dash cameras in general. It's quite a small little design, so it tucks in really nicely just behind your rearview mirror. And included are two mounts. You've got a 3M adhesive tape mount with a ball joint, and also a suction cup mount with a ball joint. Now, if you've ever used these suction cup mounts with other products, you might think that that these are no good, that they just fall off your window, and at the end of the day, yeah, eventually they will. But I can tell you this one is a good quality one, and I've tested it. It lasted on my windshield probably for about 7 to 8 months. You know, I obviously cleaned my window before applying it, give it a little bit of water here just to make sure it sticks, and then you just clip that in. So as you can tell, that's it's pretty tight latch right there. So this is actually a very good one compared to the other ones I've seen out in the marketplace. But helpful that you got two of them, so essentially you could swap this camera in between two cars pretty easily, and you have the extra mount. Now, the one thing about this particular camera, I sell an awful lot of these to trucking companies or fleets of vehicles, because with a trucking company, one of the big trucks, their windows have a split windshield and they're at an angle. So you can't, well, with other cameras, you're not able to put your camera in and go side to side. But with this one, because it has a ball joint mount, you can stick it on the window and turn it side to side. With the other ones, you can just go up and down. So this has a full 360 degree motion. So let's just go over the camera really quick. This is your power. So this is a mini USB port. We have HDMI out. There's an optional GPS antenna that you can purchase, and that inserts here. And then we have our micro SD card. So that's the memory card. So it's the small little one. Now, we don't include one with the purchase of the camera, but it is an optional accessory that you can purchase. So if you already have a bunch of cards, then you can definitely use that one. Just make sure it is a class 10 and it's a micro SD card. On the back of the camera, we have a bunch of buttons to go through menus and that sort of thing. But the orange button is a nice little feature. Say, for example, you see something noteworthy that you want to save and not have the camera loop over and overwrite. So you hit that button and it will record 30 seconds before you press the button and 30 seconds after, okay? And it will lock that file in a separate folder, and it'll give you the ability to do that 10 times. You also have a dedicated mute button. So if you don't want to record the audio, so you're having a private conversation and you want to make sure that it's absolutely not recorded, you can push this button. Some other things about this camera: it does obviously 1080p, 30 frames per second, so that's full high definition. It uses the A7 processor, which is a very high-end processor. And it also does HDR mode, which means high dynamic range. And what that means is it takes an exposure at high and low and in the middle, and they blend all those exposures together to give you the best absolute picture. This is very helpful at nighttime. So this camera, hands down, is one of the best cameras that you could get for nighttime driving. Now, like I said, it's their entry-level camera, but it's not so entry-level because it does have a super capacitor in it. What that means is, instead of your cheap lithium-ion battery, it has a supercapacitor. And what that means is they're rated for much higher temperatures. This one's rated for plus 75 degrees Celsius, so that's quite hot. So this comes in useful when, say, for example, it's summertime and you go to an event and you leave your camera in the car like most people do, and it's quite hot out. You're vehicle, inside the vehicle, will rise to, you know, plus 50, 55. And that's quite warm. So that supercapacitor will be able to handle the heat. Cheaper cameras that have a lithium ion battery in it tend to not do so well over time. And yeah, it's just it's one of those things. So the supercapacitor costs a lot more, so that's why the camera is a little bit more. But also the build quality overall is very, very good. And I can actually tell you, I've been selling VicoVation products for over a year, and I've actually never had any issues, any warranty issues, no power problems, like the screen wasn't coming on or the camera wasn't coming on. I've never had to send any of these back to VicoVation for warranty in over a year. So, and we've sold quite a few, like hundreds, if not in the thousands now. So it's a very reliable camera for sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to boot this camera up, and we're just going to have a look at the menu system. Okay, so I've got the camera booted up. You'll notice here the power cord that's included is a right angle, so it will go directly up into your headliner. Now, when the camera comes on, it is going to automatically go into recording mode, as most cameras do. And if you'd like to change any of the menu systems, you need to actually turn off the recording. So you're going to hit this button here. And as you can see, now it's not recording, and then we'll be able to access the menu system. Now this is for pretty much all dash cameras as well that have a screen. You actually have to turn off the recording to, you know, change any of the detailed settings. Now the camera is pretty much set up to do everything you need it to do. You just probably want to set up the time, and that's really the only thing. However, we're going to go through each menu system and show you what's available. So for video, by default, it is set to 1080p HDR mode, 30 frames per second. And for pretty much 99.9% of people, that's where you want to go, because it's going to give you the best video quality at day and night. However, you can step it down a little bit, and that will increase the amount of files that can be recorded on whatever memory card that you've entered in to the unit. So let's go back. EV value, that's your exposure level. So right as a base, it's set at 0. However, you can change that, but I would just keep that at 0. Now, this camera does have a G sensor in it. I've got it set to off right now, just because I'm holding the unit. But and to be honest, for most people, you can keep this off. However, if you're going to use it for parking mode, I would definitely have this on to at least a medium, and or possibly high. Now, I'm just going to leave it off for the time being, but normally you probably want to set that to medium. Now, this camera does have true parking mode, so you can set that up here. I've got it on. By default, it is off, so make sure you do set that up for on. If you're going to hardwire the unit into your fuse panel, you definitely want to take advantage of this feature, as it's going to record any motion in front of the lens. So if somebody walks by or somebody hits your vehicle while it's parked, it'll capture that on the G sensor, of course. But if somebody's trying to vandalize your vehicle, or somebody is doing something but not enough to rock the vehicle, or they're you just got a situation where you'd rather kind of a surveillance mode. So it's going to record on motion, and it's going to write those files to the memory card. Let's go back. But you do need to hardwire this camera into your fuse panel to take advantage of that. GPS setting, if you do purchase the optional GPS, this would come in handy. Also, the position overlay, just on where the units of measurement are going to be displayed on the video. Speed overlay, because you have the optional GPS, it also tracks your speed, so you can have that overlay on the video as well. It does have a smart warning system. I really tend not to use those sort of features, as I have that built into my vehicle. So it has lane departure warning system, front collision warning system. To be honest, I haven't tested these. In most cameras, it's okay, but it sometimes can get a little bit annoying. So if you're buying it for this sort of reason, I would probably hold off a bit until this feature has been figured out completely. But it does work. It's just, it's not as accurate as the factory built into your vehicle, for example. Like I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and it's fairly new, so they have that built in and dialed in really, really well. So it's not to that level. So I just kind of want to warn you about that. But really, most people don't use that feature. Display. So the standard LCD auto off. So I've got mine set to being always on, but you can also have it turn off after 1, 3, or 5 minutes. So that's just helpful if the screen is a little bit distracting to you at the beginning, and you just want the screen to go off after so many minutes, but it'll still keep on recording. LCD brightness, so just the brightness of the LCD. I won't go into that one. Date stamp, that you want that on the video, so you want the date, so that's on. The Vico tag, so if you have a few of these units and you've got different vehicles and you want to put a tag in, or like a unique number, like a license plate, or vehicle 1, or BMW 1, Audi number 2, you can edit this, and that will display on the video so that you know which vehicle it came from. Mirror inverse, so you basically are inversing the image, or you can mirror it. This is helpful if you have the camera in a weird spot, I guess, because you could technically use these cameras for surveillance in a home or office environment, and if you wanted to mount it upside down, then you could do the mirror or the inverse. Next one is our audio. So volume control and mic control, so you have the ability to that beep to be a little bit louder, or the mic control to be a little bit softer or louder. Also, you're going to be able to play back any video. I don't know if I have any recorded. Yes, so you can go in here and select it and play it back. It is a small screen, so for most people, and definitely for me, I just pull the video card out, or the memory card out, and put it on my notebook and play it back then. But if you wanted to show somebody right away that, like say a police officer, that you're in an accident, you want to see the footage right away, you could do it on here. Our system settings, the clock is essentially your time that is going to be on your video. So that's basically the one important thing I would definitely set up, as well as the parking mode, of course. Time zone, so you want to, if you're using the GPS, you want to set the time zone here. So for example, we're in Calgary, so our GMT time would actually be -7. So it'll be different for everyone, but set that up if you're using GPS, because then it takes the time from the GPS unit. TV system, so this is to do with hooking up the HDMI cable to your TV. So you want to keep that at 60 Hertz here in Canada, but you can change it for the European countries as well. Language, there is a lot of different languages that this firmware is in. So I'm just going to scroll through that. And we're back to English. This is the version of the firmware. Format, so you're able to format the memory card in the camera, and I would actually recommend you doing this when you put a new memory card in here, or as well is if you take a memory card out of another device, and it might not be a camera, but when you put it in here, just make sure you format it, because it formats it for the camera, and it'll just work that much better. If there's any updates for the firmware in the camera, you're going to take that update and put it on your memory card, and then you'll put the memory card back in, and you'll go to the update, and it will update the firmware. And then if you want to reset everything to default, you have the option. So that is the camera. So when you go out of the menu, see how it's automatically recording, and that's our mute button right there. So now it's muted. But anyway, that's the camera. If you have any questions regarding the purchase of this, please feel free to either email or contact us by our toll-free 1-800 number, and we'd be more than happy to help. And as well, there is daytime and nighttime video samples on our product page, so you can look at that, and I'm sure you'll be very impressed. I wanted to take a minute here just to show you a couple of the optional accessories that you can purchase with this camera. This is the quick mount bracket. What it does is it enables you to put the camera in the bracket, and then that way you can just quickly remove the camera and put it back on. You'll use one of the two included mounting brackets with this, so you can either use a suction cup or the adhesive mount. But as you can see, this is how it gets put into the quick mount bracket. Now it looks a little bit stealthier because it's hiding the VicoVation color logo. So that's one other thing what it does. Now the second thing is you can buy the Cpl filter, and it makes it even stealthier, so it's all black. And if you've got a interior in your vehicle that's all black and with a black rearview mirror and you've got it tucked up right behind there, you're pretty much not going to see this. Now the Cpl filter, what it does is it gets rid of any reflections in your video from the windshield. Now if you've got a big angle, like a 45-degree angle on your windshield, you tend to see some reflections. So those can be a little bit distracting, but if you want to remove them, buy the Cpl filter, and what you do is you turn it and you look at the LCD screen on the other side, and you'll see those reflections just pretty much vanish out of the way. So just a nice little extra to add on to your order to get rid of those reflections. So other than that, I hope you enjoyed this review on VicoVation's Marcus 2. If you have any questions about it or would like to contact us, please feel free to email or even our toll-free 1-800 number, and you can reach one of our experts, and we'd be more than happy to help you. And we will see you in the next one.